The interpretive center that you see here is open almost daily, usually closes at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, but the park itself closes at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It is a beautiful park. What's interesting about the park is that you see a lot of trees here. It looks very natural, but more importantly, there are very few of the modern loblolly pines that you would see across much of the South today, and also the Chinese privet, the small bushes with the blue berries. They have controlled burns to take care of that and try to make certain that they have the same type of trees and flora and fauna that would have been here on the time of the battle. In addition to the battlefield itself, there is the Overmountain Victory Trail, which is represented on the map that you see here on various highways. These match the areas that the Patriot forces took to find the British forces and Loyalist forces under Ferguson. Once sending out a letter from Gilbertown, Major Ferguson wrote a letter which threatened the Patriot forces, the Overmountain men, over in Tennessee and in the mountains of western North Carolina and Virginia. This threat was that he would meet them with fire and sword if they attempted to attack his forces, and he would even cross the mountains to find them in their homes if necessary. So these various forces all the way from Virginia, various parts of North Carolina, East Tennessee, and as far away as Georgia and South Carolina, all came through this area and rendezvoused to try to find Major Ferguson and his Loyalist militia and Loyalist provincial forces. They caught up with them here at Kings Mountain in October of 1780. Following the battle here, the prisoners that were taken from the Loyalists, as well as the surviving Patriots, then had to move rapidly off the battlefield. They had heard that Major Tarleton, another British officer with his forces, which included cavalry, would be following them to destroy them. And so they retreated as rapidly as possible away from the battlefield. When they got to this location here that you see around us, this was Biggerstaff's plantation. Biggerstaff was a Loyalist officer who died from his wounds in the Battle of Kings Mountain. And as we shall see, this is where many of the local Patriots took their revenge for the Loyalist actions in the Civil War in the South. This is one of the outparcels of the Kings Mountain Battlefield Park on the Overmountain Victory Trail. This is the Bickerstaff farm where the Bickerstaff hanging tree used to be. They hung 9 of the Loyalist prisoners after convicting them to death for crimes against the local Patriots. It is recommended that teachers, small groups, or public groups make arrangements before they visit to either of the Kings Mountain parks, either the National Park, National Battlefield Park, or the South Carolina State Park. They have special programs where the interpreters or rangers will lead historic or nature tours for groups as they come here. In fact, the Kings Mountain National Battlefield Park has a series of fake wooden muskets so that they can actually drill students while they're here to give them a flavor of that experience. Down here into the state park, they have an early 19th century log village which they have built. It looks like a small community, as you had seen here in the era of 1780 to about 1800 here in the North Carolina, South Carolina, Piedmont. Coming to the South Carolina side, the state Kings Mountain Battlefield Park. There are recreational areas here, hiking trails, horseback trails, etc., and this wonderful log cabin living history village. It's a small farming community, much like you would see in the period of the last half of the 18th century. They also have some wonderful living history weekends here with interpreters who will show period crafts and clothing styles and how people would live at that time. So it's important that one checks with the calendar to see the calendar of events here at the state park as well as the national park. Those two battles, Kings Mountain and Cowpens, completely changed the war. These were two important turning points because from here on, the southern strategy of the British Empire was falling apart. It became the road to Guilford Court House and the road to Yorktown.